Good afternoon. I wanted to take a few minutes today and talk a little bit about a good starting point to move forward through roadblocks that are in our life. I wanted to take a couple minutes and first share a story. I'll use Jack as an illustration. Jack's looking for a job, and he desperately needs a job. Where he's at just isn't working for him, and he's trying to apply to 1,000 different places, right? Every day he sends out 9 or 10 applications. Never hears back from anyone. He's getting really frustrated. He doesn't know how to move forward. What might help Jack is to narrow down the job search, right? Instead of applying to maybe 4 or 5 different types of jobs, find one job that Jack's really good at and focus on applying there to just tailor what he's doing to that. But how does he know where he should work? I think the first thing that can help Jack, and also just with roadblocks in general, is to know the big picture. Where do we even want to go to begin with? A lot of times asking what can help with that is if you imagine maybe 5 years down the road, dream impossibly big and connect that emotionally. Why is that important to you? You want a really big house. Well, so what? Why do you want the big house? Okay, you want to be able to help people. You want a big family, and that's important because such and such. That is a good, big vision to have. But then also know, so for Jack, okay, so why does he want employment? Well, maybe he's really passionate about fixing cars. Fantastic. That's something he can look at, but why is he passionate about that? Well, maybe something he's really good at, and he knows that he can be really helpful to people in his community. Fantastic. That's something he can look for further work at. But then also, what is your why? What's the reason for the next step you're taking? So going to Jack in his job search, why is he applying to this job or that job? What's the goal in that application? So if he's applying to work at a clothing store, well, that has nothing to do with fixing cars. So why should he even spend time doing that? So to understand that next step. And a third thing he can do then is create a plan of how can he get there. So he needs a good updated resume. He needs to identify places he can apply to. He needs to submit the application to the right person and then follow through with that plan. I'll apply this also to relationships and communication, right? So someone wants to be in a relationship with their partner. They want it to go really well, and they have their own reasons for that, right? They care a lot about the other person. They've always wanted a big family. Fantastic. So if they have to have a difficult conversation with the person, well, why? How does that conversation fit in with the big picture of their relationship? And even going into that conversation, what's the objective for that conversation? And maybe it's the same argument over and over and over. So maybe the objective is, let's just talk about it differently. Let's just find a different way to sort through what's going on, why we can't move forward. And maybe the objective is just to talk about that for a little bit. But fantastic, that's a little bit of progress. And then it's looking at how can I practically make this happen? What's a game plan? What's a step-by-step game plan for that? And then follow through with it. So to summarize, the first couple of things that can help with moving through roadblocks is to know the big picture why. Where are you trying to go? Why is it important to get through this roadblock? And then what is your objective for the next step? So what are you trying to accomplish in this action? And what all that can do is really have a good focus for what you're doing and also allow you some flexibility. Or maybe the objective, it actually doesn't fit the long-term goal, so you can just adjust what you're doing, and it's not failure, it's not giving up. It's just finding a more effective way to move forward. And then the third part is create a good actionable plan of how to move forward. And sometimes that can be a lot more challenging than one might think. And next week we will be talking about how to develop some of the next steps in a very practical and effective way.